and it was really hard to control, as you've said,
Mm.
because once you start thinking about, well, once you're going in a certain direction, that's it. That is the direction you're going until you do anything other.
I mean, this is kind of how Mag Racer played, right? Like,
Yeah,
once you internalized how the movement system worked, you could easily bank around corners and undertake and overtake NPCs with impunity. But to get to that point, you kind of had to unlearn everything video games have taught you about these things.
yeah,
Because, and we didn't realize this till afterwards when we went back and watched Wipeout footage. We based it on what I could remember. Wipeout doesn't actually have you hovering over the track and dealing with all of that motion. Wipeout has you sit still on a line and you move where that line is. And it's very, very precise. So if we were
yeah.
to redo that, and this is an if, I'm not, this is a hypothetical, in God of 4, we would have to go to the more traditional flight system because the difficulty curve is just too unforgiving. It's too niche a game otherwise.
Yeah. And I think niche is important if you're doing something that is new. If you're actually doing something,
Or if we want to play a competitive game that only Yan can win.
but if you're
Like, I
basing
think there's
something
room for that.
and people are going to look and go, oh, this is a modern version of insert name of game here, then they're going to expect it to play in a very similar way. I have a little bit of a paddy the moment that use isn't E anymore, but it is in some games. So F is now used in a lot of games, and it
Why is E inventory in Minecraft?
I don't know, inventory. Perhaps someone couldn't
I
spell.
is good. Tab is fine.
That standards though, someone needs an extra thing to do and it changes. I think did Thief, the original Thief, have leaning left and right with Q and E? It's a very good question. Why is it used? So yeah, the not just how something controls, but actually fitting into a paradigm. Like if I was to make a first person shooter right now, I would use W, A, S, and D as the movement keys. You're almost shooting yourself in the foot if you don't pick up that control scheme.
I feel like shoot yourself in the foot should be the F key.
To pay respects, yes.
Yep. Um, I'd be interested to see if you made a first person shooter, how you would deal with things like inertia, slide, weight, acceleration,
I played a
when you can
fantastic
interrupt a
game.
motion.
I played a fantastic game recently that was it was really fast and frantic, and I can't remember the name of the game at the moment. Hi Daz. Um but it was very weird. I almost didn't play it because of its aesthetic. So it was I remember telling you about it. It was all magenta to begin with, and I was like, "Oh, this looks horrible. What's gone wrong with my graphics card?" was my first thought. It turned out it was fine. It was the aesthetic of the game. But after I started playing it, it was incredible because it had the right pace. It was very almost Doom Quake type speed
Mm.
where you're going around the level. So it wasn't methodical in thought. It was a very twitch, very high energy game.
So yeah,
Uh,
how we doing for time, by the way?
we are at 52 minutes at the moment.
We're at 52 minutes. I think we're approaching the point where people should let us know control systems that worked really well and really badly. Um,
Yeah.
because we kind of went on a little bit about why is this so slippy? Why is this so treacly or slow? Um, but more thing we should talk about is the bat bike,
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bam.
the bat cycle, the bat trike, um, which is a fun little thing that you can use. You tap up on the controller or whatever is in the keyboard, and the bike uncloaks next to you where it's been secretly hovering around silently like
Yeah.
a stalker, and they can drive around. Mikey, what was your impression of it when you got on it in a tutorial?
It's slow. Even though they put the so let's see if I can get it on camera. They've got these little sort of After Effect lines whizzing past you. I'm like, it's going like 20 miles an hour.
See, I'm wondering if it's slower in the tutorial.
Maybe, but it put me off using it.
Because there is this moment where you've got to press the wheelie button to go over an obstacle,
Yeah,
which doesn't happen anywhere else in the game.
that's useful to know, isn't it?
Right, like, it just never happens. There is never a time where you have to do this, except possibly in one scene, which I hate, and I didn't do it. But I started a new game plus this morning, and the bike felt slower.
Interesting. So maybe it is
So I'm wondering if it's just, okay, you're gonna get to use this, but to make it really easy, let's slow things down for you, but we'll keep the speed lines at the side.
well, maybe that's why my opinion of it was, because I was quite adamant. Jan was like, "No, I think you'll find the bike is quicker to get." I was like, "No, no, no, the bike is so slow. I know it's quicker to just rapple around the rapple around the uh
Gripple.
around the
It's
city."
I mean, groupling around the city is pretty fun.
Group. Yes.
That's what I'm gonna call it now. I'm just gonna do a bit groupling. Euro Truck Simulator 2, games that specifically design themselves for a specific controller. That does bite.
Well, it's very locked in at that point. So this is a genre of games I don't think I get. Euro Truck Simulator, like Farming Simulator and things like
I
that.
would say this, except for two exceptions.
What's that?
One of them is that janitorial simulator you and I have played. His
Yeah,
name escapes
actually,
me.
yeah. Viscera Cleanup Duty.
Viscera Cleanup Duty, which is very fun to play multiplayer because the physics get in the way. Um, but also solo is oddly satisfying if you put on a podcast
Hmm.
in a way that doing housework in your house isn't. Um, and Elite Dangerous, I spent a lot of time just trucking things from one system to another, listening to audiobooks, and
Mm.
just generally enjoying myself. Strip the shields off a large ship and just know that I can dock perfectly.
Yeah, I totally get it though, because whilst I like the idea of flight simulators, using Microsoft Flight Simulator to simulate a 5-hour flight over somewhere is not my idea of fun. Personally, it's just not.
It's not, but imagine in VR with this totally immersive cockpit. And now that ships have interiors and there are things
Yeah.
like carriers, you can move around them while someone else drives the thing. Like there is something about it that just feels present.
Mm.
I'm trying to find the right word here. There's something compelling about it.
Lawnmower Simulator. Yes. And
Lawnmower simulator,
don't you have to pressure wash people's driveways in there as well?
pressure wash simulator. That's another one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe I've mixed two up, or perhaps they were on a bundle deal. I don't.
There's a whole bunch of these games that came out, and they all seem to be using. It looks like the Unreal Asset Store to me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they're for me. Perhaps I'm scared of they might be.
Jelly, I once decided I was going to go on a pilgrimage to Sagittarius A star at Elite Dangerous. Okay, so Elite Dangerous uses our galaxy as much as possible, right?
Yeah,
And as exoplanets have been discovered, they've been added to the game.
which is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Sagittarius A star is the black hole in the center of our galaxy. It's quite far away. So I decided I was going to go on a pilgrimage tour. I wasn't just going to go on a pilgrimage. I was going to take tourists. So I went and found tourists who wanted to go, and the payout for this was insane. And I got myself a ship, and I customized it as a passenger ship, and I put in huge fuel tanks and fuel scoops and all the rest of it. However, in order to make this more efficient, I decided to go neutron star jumping. If you go into a neutron star and you just go along the magnetosphere, it supercharges your FTL drive to the point where you can jump twice as far. Get this wrong, and it does a lot of damage. So I got halfway there before I cracked the hull. The cracks are actually showing. I'm slowly leaking air.
You don't need
I've
air. It's fine.
damaged my fuel scoop. I've damaged, like the whole ship is falling apart. And I'm 250 light years from the nearest space station. That was terrifying.
I
Elite Dangerous is a great game to play if you're not using a mouse and probably not a controller. If you have a good flight stick or a VR controller, I would recommend it. I know some people who've played Elite Dangerous in VR and they swear by it. I know people who played it with keyboard and mouse and they swear at it.
I've picked up Elite Dangerous ages and ages ago. It reminded me a lot of the X series.
It's more fair to say that X reminds people of Elite because Elite was the first game of its kind back
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
80s.
It's from X. I think X2 was the one that I put a lot of time into. Speaking of which, X4 Foundations has just come up as it's sale by they're listening to me. They're listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I played Elite Dangerous, I got so confused right at the very beginning because it was like throwing keyboard commands at me. I was like, no, no, my
I'll tell
brain
you
is
something I
not
loved about Elite
receptive to
Dangerous.
this.
Someone started making a mod where you'd have a ship computer that would figure out what you were doing and would add voice to it.
Okay.
So you could like look at a star and it would tell you the information about that star, what kind of star it was, what the local traffic was. And then they got this brilliant idea of hiring voice actors.
Oh dear.
So I got the one with the gentleman who played Holly from Red Dwarf. And it was amazing. And obviously they couldn't call him Holly for copyright reasons, but it was literally, all right, dude. Yeah, getting ready for your FTL job now. You'll be fine. It was so good.
I might have to get it
There's
downloading and
also like,
installing.
what's his name, Spinner, who did Data, I believe it was. There's a few of the voices on there. They're so good that they've actually added some of the voice pack stuff to the actual game. Like it's no longer a mod. But yeah, that was good.
Yes, I do have it. I'm not gonna click
That
download
was the
right now.
best thing about the X Games for me was when you were flying
Yeah.
towards a station, the speech synthesizer would actually greet you with the correct information, welcome you to that named system, and tell you anything you needed to know. Like touches like that make games like that worthwhile.
I mean, it's interesting. So, two that I've been very interested in are Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky. Not because they're the same game, but
At all.
at all, but because of the I like space. And in fact, one of the
The one I can't bring myself to get excited for is Star Citizen.
no, I don't like the ethos of that people have spent tens of thousands of
I really
pounds.
don't like that. I don't like the feature creep. Some people love the game, and that's fine. From the
Oh
tech
yeah, but
demos I've seen, it
by
looks
all
very
means, if
impressive.
people want to
But
spend 15 grand
right,
on a game, that's their call. But at the same time, it's at a certain point, is this a long con sort of thing?
well, just I mean, I have a friend who gets really into Star Citizen. He points out, but the ships will be purchasable with in-game money at release. Like, yeah, but if you spent $4,000 to buy a thing for you and your guild, there is no way I'm going to be anything like comparable to you on day one. And if I am, you've just wasted 4 grand.
Mm.
So you are buying an advantage, and I don't like that.
It looks beautiful.
I mean, Elite Dangerous looks beautiful. That's one of the reasons I used to love doing sightseeing tours with NPCs, is because you'd find these incredible trinary star systems. And
I'm going to click install as soon as the stream's over.
speaking of, I should go have some dinner.
That sounds like a good plan. Before we go, though, does anybody have any questions, interpretive dances,
Oh, my
or
hoodie won't fit over my thing. Questions, concerns, comments, thoughts, interpretive dances, jingles, suggestions for
$7.50?
recipes.
Yeah, yeah. I'd take a punt on most games for $7.50.
Eh, I don't want to get Warframe. Also, I want to say thank you to those people who reached out after my video from last week. It's very, very touching, and I am slowly getting around to saying thank you to everybody individually. It's a little slow because it always feels I don't know how to respond to people when they say, "Oh, that really touched me." It's like, thank you, but I am getting around to it.
Awesome. So I don't think there's going to be any other stuff coming in at the moment, but I would like to thank everybody for joining us this evening. It's been a
I
right
would.
blast, as
Yeah.
always. Oh,
Before we go,
oh,
Mikey, as we talk about space games, who is your favorite Star Trek character?
um, 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 Luke, One Kenobi.
Very nice. I think mine is probably Worf.
Kapla!
Oh, the hate mail we're gonna get for that.
There you go, Adam. When you're putting the thumbnail together for at least one of these, you could do me doing that.
Cisco, good choice.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. As soon as someone starts asking about Star Trek, I always go to TNG. Barf. Barf. Thank you, everybody, and good
Thanks,
evening.
everybody. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.